All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday afternoon, delivery day. Fingers crossed, still hasn't shown up yet. It's just after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. My window was 1 to 5 this afternoon, so we'll see how it goes. So I basically brought everything down. You can see my mixer here and behind me. I've got my concrete vibrator down here. I've got the extension cord ran to the power. The hose is run all the way back up to the house, so we've got water here for the mix. And yeah, we are just standing around twiddling our thumbs at this point. I was running around the rest of the property this morning with the weed whacker. I've got a good bit of roadside stuff I maintain now. So, you know, I was just kind of killing time doing all that stuff this morning. So yeah, we're just kind of waiting now. So we'll see. So as soon as something happens, I'll let you know. Well, good morning, everybody. It's now the next day, and you might be thinking, gee, Todd, next time I thought I was going to see you was have a respirator on and pouring concrete. Well, wouldn't that be nice? So I got a call sometime yesterday afternoon, about 3 o'clock or so. I won't get into the details of it, just letting me know that they're not coming and they need to reschedule. So I have to adjust on the fly, and here we go. So I am at cabin 1 today. So we are going to be actually framing in the front of the cabin. So I have to frame in for 2 windows and as well as for the door. So it's certainly not very complicated today. I've got the measurements for the windows we're using, and it's a 3.0 door. It's pretty standard stuff. So I've got to pull off some supports, and first time we're going to get into some of the 2x4s that I had milled, and yeah, we're going to see how it goes. So back to driving nails, guys. Here we go. Well, fairly simple process here with framing out the door, just having to get these base pieces put in here. The measurement, I had to cut these twice here. The measurement in the plans was accurate, obviously, but again, it's rough sawn lumber here, so I've got a little bit of variation. So a 1/2 inch here and a 1/4 inch there really starts to kind of add up after a while. So my measurement from outside the post to the inside of the door frame here was off a little bit on both sides. I think one side it was a 1/4 inch, another side it was a 1/2 inch. So I had to make those adjustments. So even it up on the top. Again, the measurement for the top support that I put across there was accurate, and just nailed those in place. So now I've got the rough dimensions that I need for my windows. So we're gonna have a window on this side and a window on this side. So I'll have 2 framing members across and then 2 vertical members that'll be in between those support frames. So yep, we'll get to work on it. All right, guys, I've been working on the window, kind of the window frame itself. So the issue I was having, I should say not the issue, but the decision point we came to, and in fact I had to bring the boss out here. Rebecca was just out here kind of taking a look at it. We came to some agreement that first of all, we're putting oversized windows in here. It takes up what you see there with this frame, with this bottom section, and then these risers that are on each side. That's basically the size of the window. So actually what we're doing, we're repurposing some windows, and they are this big. So they're basically house windows that are going to go in here. Because these two windows right now are the only windows in the cabin, because it is just a cabin, and cabins are relatively close, and you know, there's other things we kind of thought about coming up with these plans and stuff. So these two extra large windows will allow a lot of light in. That's kind of the purpose of them being kind of, I don't know, supersized, I guess, if what you would want to call it. But so I originally centered it in the actual frame that I put up a little while ago. You watched me put up with this bottom frame and then the door frame and that. So I centered it. Well, from the inside, get on up in here. From the inside, if I was to, I'm 5'11". If I was to, it's kind of hard to make out, but the top of the windows here, this is basically almost at eye level. Okay, so you almost have to kind of scrunch down to see straight out into the property. So, and then you're relatively close to the floor down here. So what I wanted to do, I guess, with Rebecca is just kind of have a consensus. So we're going to bump it up a little bit. So it's not going to be centered in the square. It's going to be bumped up a little bit, and basically 4 inches below this support beam. Where is it? Oh, right here. This beam that goes across. 4 inches below that, basically where that 2x4 is right now, that's going to be the top of my rough opening. So the window itself will be obviously slightly lower than that with the frame and everything that goes along with it. So that's kind of what I've been tooling around with. And well, now I got to get this frame kind of nailed together and then up inside the frame. Let's do it. All right, guys, just kind of organizing myself on how I was going to kind of go about this since we switched to kind of moving the top of the window towards, I mean, obviously towards the top of this beam. And it leaves me with just a little gap. In fact, this is all the gap is going to be. I built some spacers, but the thing of it was I really couldn't get my nail gun in at an angle to catch these risers into this horizontal piece. So I just laid it down, made my measurements, and did the best I could to get that centered on that piece. So now I've got these spacers, so now I can just put the frame in, push it up onto those spacers, and then nail into the side. 2 in this side and then 1 on each side on the other side, because I'm going into a 4x4 on this side. So that's what you'll see me do next. Guys, well, we got it framed in. I think it looks great. Again, it's really just kind of rough frame, so I'm in my tolerance for my rough opening for the window. I do like the fact that we got it off the ground this little bit here and then have it closer at the top. Really, from a sight line inside the cabin, it's really a lot better, I think. And also, I mean, somebody might, I don't know, they might not kick the window out at this point. Now it's over a foot off the ground, so I think we'll be okay. So wash, rinse, repeat here, just doing the same thing on the other side. You probably saw me running the level a lot, and then also taking measurements and retaking measurements and stuff. Again, with the rough sawn lumber, it makes it a little interesting. As you can see here, up here in this corner, there's a knot, and I have a different dimension here than I do right here. So obviously when the blade was coming through, the knot pushed the blade down a little bit, so it's slightly thinner here than it is kind of like right there. So yeah, so you know, I'm trying to get rough dimension for the inside, and I'm like, why is it like 1/8 of an inch off? And you know, I'm going back and forth. I thought maybe the board was twisted in that direction, but come to find out, I mean, I'm looking at it, you can just see it was basically just kind of scalloped out. So yeah, so let's get it on. We're gonna get on this other side here and make it happen. All right, guys, got those 2 windows framed out. No real problems. It did see the risers here, the vertical parts of this frame here, just kind of fall off the nails. That was interesting. But I'm not actually using ring shank nails. I would like to be, but I cannot find them for my nail gun. So it is what it is. But I'm really more interested in the shear strength rather than the holding strength of those pieces right there. So that's, you know, I'm fine with that. So next thing I'm going to actually work on, part of the plan here between the posts here, I need a nailer, a 2x4 nailer. It actually goes around the entire structure, and that is to, well, when I'm putting on the sheathing, the interior sheathing, I have something to nail to about midway up the sheet that's going to go on here. So not overly difficult in this, literally just measuring the distance between, you know, one post and the other, and then picking out a decent 2x4 here for that to be the nailer. So what I'll probably do, I'll probably make a jig, lack of a better term, but almost like a cripple stud that I'll put against the side here at the right height. So when I get the beam, I don't have to really measure. I just set the beam, or the 2x4 on top of the cripple, and then I'll have my height automatically set. So that'll make things a lot quicker. All right, let's get it. This is what I mean when I talk about a cripple stud. I don't have a, there may be an actual name for it, but that's just kind of what I refer to, because it's this stud here that doesn't really go up to anywhere. It just kind of supports kind of something below it, but that is not actually attached to the post right now. So my stud height here across this nailer is 42 inches up, so from the deck. So I just cut myself two 2x4s here that are 42 inches long. I put one there and then one down here, and now I don't even have to measure anything. I could just set that 2x4 on top of those, and I know that they're 42. They start at 42 inches from the deck. So I'll just kind of toenail this 2x4 into the post. I'll pull out my cripple studs and I'll move on to the next bay, if you will. Let's just make quick work of this side here. What I'm going to do now is just kind of work my way around the cabins. There's 2 short ones right here, and then 2 more here about the same, well, they're the same size as the other side. So I'll make quick work of this and we'll move on. We'll see where we're at in the day. Well, guys, I didn't spend the day doing what I was hoping to do. That was pouring some concrete here, but just to point out, I really did appreciate having electricity down here now. So I run a 100-foot cord back to my breaker, and it's nice to have some nice loud music out here. My air compressor and certainly my chop saw here appreciated the fact that I was actually pumping 15 amps into it. So it did miss a beat. So a little bit of scrap left over for today. Well, that'll be, you know, we'll definitely use that for something along the way. And cabin one is coming along. Windows, door, got the nailers in the side. It's really nice to see. It was nice to finally get back down here after months and months of being off and away from sawdust and driving nails. So it was nice to be back. So looking at tomorrow should be a concrete day. I don't know, they say I'm on the morning shipment. I don't know what that means to them. I would love for them to be beating down my door at 7 o'clock, but I know that's not gonna happen. So tomorrow, yeah, so we'll be doing this operation on cabin 3 tomorrow until supplies arrive. At that point, then it is all focused on getting those footers in, and then so Friday can come around and we can get those piers poured as well. So Friday afternoon, starting at noon, it's going to be some rain, so I'm going to be out here early Friday. Yeah, trying to get all that in. I hope by Friday morning, or I should say at the end of Thursday, the concrete will be firm enough. Hopefully I start pouring in the morning, and by 3, 4, 5 in the afternoon should certainly be firm enough to put the tubes on it and start to do some final layout of being square and things like that. So that way when I come out Friday morning, I will literally just have to fire up the mixer and start getting to pouring. So yeah, but hopefully we'll be able to get this much done on cabin 3 tomorrow. That would be nice. But like I said, gotta be flexible. All right, guys, listen, hey, I appreciate you hanging out with me today. It's early. It's only 3:30 in the afternoon, so I'm going to do some cleanup here, kind of stash some tools away, kind of get my job site back to normal. And listen, yeah, we're stepping away from milling for a little while. I got a lot of nails to drive, and I hope you guys are hanging out with me, okay? Please go ahead, if you find this content interesting, if you're learning anything from it, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and subscribe. That way you don't miss anything. I'm trying to put something out every day, but it just depends on kind of what the flow of the day is looking like. So I'm doing my best. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one.